We'll get up the back, everyone. Good to go. All right, I brought Marnus along to talk to the rat, so we thought we'd talk to you guys first. So, Marnus Labuschagne, 5th half century today. So, if you've got any questions for Marnus, please use the mics wherever they are today. Anyone? Andrew?
300 for 8, Marnus, on that, with a number of the top order getting starts and sort of not being able to go on. How do you sum up that day from Australia's point of view?
Yeah, I think anything with a 3 in front of it is all right. I think where we were and how many guys got themselves in, I think we'd be slightly disappointed with no one getting a big score. But I think the statistics are really skewed here in England to first innings scores above 300.
Over to Dan on the left one.
Marnus, just on a personal note, how are you feeling about your batting? Was it at least somewhat satisfying to get past 50 and feel like you dug in a bit there?
Yeah, I mean, for me it was the process that I was happy with. I was happy with my decision making, which has been the part that's really been frustrating me from a personal side. But I stuck to the process. I felt like we were so close to turning it there, Hetty and I, to getting a really big partnership together. And obviously, probably a little bit lazy on that try to turn it to the leg side, and then Moeen got me.
And just in terms of the second innings or later in the match, do you expect you'll be bowling a bit more than usual, given Todd wasn't selected and you were bowling a bit more in the nets? And if so, do you think you'll be bowling offies or leggies or meds or what?
Will I be bowling? Hopefully not, because if I'm not bowling, it means we're in a pretty good spot. But if I need to bowl, I'm always ready, always working on it. I think it'll be leggies with the amount of left-handers, and obviously there might be some rough there if the sun continues to stay out.
Mel down in front of you.
You suggested it might have been a bit of laziness there on your part, but just in general, can you put your finger on what it was that just meant that just as it looked like there was a threatening partnership forming, another wicket managed to fall?
What was your question there?
Well, can you put your finger on because you said, like, in your case, it might have been a bit of laziness when you got out, but as a whole, every time there was a threatening partnership, there was another wicket. Can you put your finger on why that was, that everyone was able to make those starts? Yeah,
I think the wicket is a little bit too paced. It's quite slow, so it's not as some wickets I've played here, which is quite quick on day one. I think the thatchiness of the grass is really the ball sitting in the wicket a little bit, so you're getting a little bit of inconsistent bounce from that. They just show the ball was nipping for a fair bit of the day, and Moeen got a few big to spin. So I think that's probably it.
And just, you mentioned Mo again there, getting some turn on day one. So how are you feeling about, or do you think the team might regret not picking a frontline spinner?
It's going to be interesting to say this, but I think it's one of those wickets where I think, because the wicket's been undercover for a few days, it didn't have that really rock hardness, and the thatchiness of the grass is spinning. So I think once that wears off, I think the middle of the wicket's going to actually not spin so much. The ends will rough up, I think, eventually, if the weather stays good. But I think it's actually going to spin less as the game goes on from the good part of the wicket. That's in my opinion.
On the left here, Marnus.
Hey, Marnus. Just a question about the general, theme of batting across this series. Obviously, one of the things England do is they're trying to get your wicket throughout. You've often seen the rhythms of Test cricket that once a partnership starts or a batter gets established, there's some fielders might drop out. You might get a few more opportunities to rotate strike. But yeah, what's that been like to face up to over these 4 tests so far?
I think England have done a really good job at, when someone's getting in, trying to not give them continuous strike and continuous ball, and trying to, today, when Trav and I were starting out there, they pretty much, I think they had 6-3 leg side field, and they were just, Stuart was just trying to bowl the innies and sort of try and get me trapped on the leg side. But when someone's bowling like that, you're obviously not going to score very freely unless he misses on the offside. So I think that's just a tactic to slow down, make you take balls, and then obviously try and create an opportunity when one presents itself.
Louis?
Marnus, just on the different team kind of structure you've got, have you kind of played in a team that has batted as deep as this one, and does that change anything as a top order player, kind of knowing, you've got Carey at 8, that maybe that might be a reason behind a lot of guys getting to 40 and getting out?
I can't talk from each individual's mental state, but from my own, no, it doesn't make a difference. My job is to come in and score runs and score big runs, especially when I get myself in. So, and our whole top orders, that's our responsibility. So if those sorts of thoughts have crept in, then that's probably on the individual to make sure we stamp that out if that was a thing for the second innings. But I think it gives you confidence as a player because, you bat deep, and as you were able to see, we're able to build partnership there with Carey and Stark, and then Mitch and Greeny, and so I think those runs are going to be really vital, especially if we can get this lead up to 350. That's going to be a pretty decent first innings total.
Marnus, just on your series, mate, you mentioned the decision making and how that's sort of been something that's hampered you a bit this series. How have you gone about dealing with that? And obviously, it feels like there's been a little bit of tinkering with your technique or your setup. Have you ever tinkered this much through a series as you have this time around, and how have you gone with that too?
Yeah, pretty much every series. Every series is the same thing. I think just because I haven't got as many runs as I would have liked, I think that's where, it's probably coming more to light. But yeah, I mean, you can ask the coaches, you can ask anyone. It usually goes the same route. But from today, I was really happy with where I was from a technical space, I think, which I've been really striving to get to and make those changes to give myself as much access to the ball as I can. So I was really happy with that today. So hopefully less tinkering for the next few tests.
Bill?
Marnus, Stuart Broad took his 600th test wicket today. You've played quite a lot against him now. You've had some good battles. You're kind of big characters of Ashes cricket, I suppose. Can you just reflect on him as a bowler and kind of what he's like to face, and I don't know, maybe the character he brings off the field as well, the constant chatter and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, his statistics speak for themselves, I think. Especially this series, I think he's been very impressive to show his versatility. On wickets that probably didn't have as much pace and nip at times, but he's able to create really good angles on the crease with his swing, and he was able to work on, getting one to shape away a little bit, and then he's able to go to the bouncer plan. And I think when you're doing that, it just shows his versatility, because we know if the conditions are good for bowling that he's always going to be a handful. But he's shown through the series and through his career that when it's not, he can still keep it tight and then wait for his opportunity and work a batter out.
Last one off the back seat.
Man, you mentioned the weather forecast for the weekend before, and I guess given the fact that you guys are posted 300 plus batted out the first day, do you expect England to be any more aggressive perhaps than when they get out there tomorrow?
I think so. I think the ball will be more in their court. I think I can't suggest how they're going to bat, but I feel like with that in mind and with them needing to win this test match to stay alive, I think they'll definitely showing more intent at times. I mean, there's different ways to skin a cat. You don't need to all do it from ball one, but we'll have to wait and see. But I think with the amount of rain that is forecasted for later, that might be a way they go. I'd suggest that from all the talk pre-series and trying to, play that brand of cricket, I think they're definitely going to take that factor into play.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.